Nothing drives like a go-kart. You sit low to the ground, exposed, with every movement of the wheel instantly changing the direction you are flying. You drive on the edge of out of control, always sliding. Feeling every bump, you use momentum to win races. It's as fast as it is affordable too. Real bang for your buck. You can race at many different levels, from Weekend Warrior to All Out Pro. And this weekend at Melbourne's Todd Road Circuit, we are seeing that theory in action with the semi-pro racers in the TaG series. These teams don't have huge budgets, but they have good gear and they race hard. There's some famous names here too, still keen to get a kick from going fast. It's racing at its purest, and we have plenty of it here as the TaG series gets set to race in Melbourne as part of the Castrol Edge CIK Stars of Karting. TaG is for the gentleman racers of the karting world. It's all about affordability and parity. First, we have the rookies, who are kids aged 9 to 11 and race a 100cc kart. The adults race karts with 125cc engines, where weight is used to even out the playing field. TaG Restricted is for new drivers who drive a slower kart. They can then step up to TaG Light or Heavy. TaG Light is about 20 kilos lighter and therefore faster. Oh, and TaG stands for Touch and Go, which is a reference to the fact that these karts have a one-touch electric starter. Time to take a look now at this magnificent Todd Road Circuit located right near the Westgate Bridge in Port Melbourne. It starts off with that famous downhill section, max speed on the approach to turn 1 at around 130 k's depending on what kind of kart you're in. Then hard on the brakes, a great overtaking opportunity. Down to the chicane, careful not to hit the curbs too hard through there. The run through turn 4 is just about flat out. Important to carry as much speed through here to set up a pass at the tight turn 5. Then it's hold on down the back straight and through turn 6. If you don't lift through there, you can register 3 Gs through there. Wild stuff. Then it's tight and twisty as it winds its way back up the hill. Super important to get a good run out of the last corner to help make a pass on the next lap. Kilometre long, lap times are around the 40-second mark. Great little track.
The rookies are on the racetrack, and as the name implies, this is where the young drivers start their karting career. We're set to take a look at some highlights from the final. Cody Bruczynski starts from pole alongside Jay Speary in the number 3, Josh Smith and Jordan Dudfield from the second row of the grid. Matt Payne, this category is critical to finding the next stars in the Castrol Edge Stars of Karting series.
Most definitely a great initiative from Stars of Karting organisers to bring the rookies on board this year as part of the series. Jay Speary and Cody Bruczynski, who are up the front, have been at every single one of the 5 rounds so far this year, and basically bringing these youngsters on board gives them the opportunity to show what they can do to the teams that are involved in the Pro Junior categories. And I guess you get involved in the rookies from about the age of 8 or 9 after the cadets class. They're all using the same engine, a Yamaha 100cc J engine, which has got a restrictor on it just to pull a little bit of power out of it, and all on Dunlop SL1 tyres, which are a very hard, very durable tyre that lasts a long time.
So in the early running in this race, Bruczynski got in front. He's in the number 18. Speary in the number 3 kart. So this was a great fight. In the early laps, it settled down. It was just a battle between these two as they gapped the field. But as we'll show in a minute, the final laps were something to remember, and the equal of any of the outright pro categories here this weekend. Josh Smith settled in 4th place, but there's some good name drivers in this as well. Antonio Astudi, son of Formula 3 team owner and former Gold Star racer Sam, and Benjamin Barguana as well, the son of former Bathurst champion Jason.
Yeah, Benjamin's just kicking off his karting career. Actually, Dad's out there racing this weekend as well, who you'll see a little bit later on in today's show. But it's great to see guys like Antonio Astudi involved. Of course, racing under the Erebus Motorsport Academy banner is Antonio Astudi this weekend. Another one out there is Corey Arnett, the Arnett family, well known in Victorian karting circles. But up the front, the battle between Speary and Bruczynski just continued on. It was absolutely fantastic between these two.
Yeah, so Speary got in front, but Bruczynski wasn't finished yet and continued to attack, and this fight would go right down to the very end of the race. Very close, very hard, very competitive racing, and Matt, this is where these young kids really learning their racecraft. They'll move like that. Bruczynski up the inside, that's textbook stuff.
Yeah, that was pretty cool there from young young Cody to get through on Jai. These two have been going hammer and tongs since round number 1 at Ipswich. Brzezinski is out of Sydney in New South Wales. And here they go down the front straight away. They're side by side. It's the last lap. Anything's possible. But it's a great way to get the kids involved. They can get involved in the Stars of Karting series from the age of 12. Sperry up the inside. Oh, touch the wheels. How do you like it? A couple of times there, they touch wheels, and this one is going to go right to the checkered flag.
Yeah, it was great racing, and Brzezinski just looking over his shoulder to find out where his rival was. But check the move around the outside. Sperry, big lunge, just got a bit of a hip and shoulder perhaps, and hung it out to dry on the exit of that corner. But wild stuff on the final lap in the rookies race. But really, for the most part, very high quality racing and great competition between these youngsters here at Todd Road.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic stuff. Great to see as Cody Brzezinski comes across the line. He puts his hands in the air. Sperry comes across the line in second, but after the race, we've seen a reversal in those positions thanks to that move early on in the piece. Sperry takes the win from Brzezinski. Then it's Smith, Studi and Arnett rounds out your top 5. We'll go to a break and we'll be back with more action very soon.
One of the great things about karting is that you can get involved at any level. You can have a budget or no budget, you can be young or old, you can be the mum who's dropping the kids off at school, or even a bloke who's won Bathurst.
I love racing on bitumen, and when I was a young lad I used to race and all that. Got back into it now and all that because I just need a bit of stress relief, and there's nothing like it.
I just started this year and just thought, why not? Try something different, and I'm enjoying it ever since.
Getting to play with a fast toy, yeah, just getting on the spanners, getting dirty, that's what I enjoy most,
My dad really enjoyed motorsport and he wanted a way for us to participate in it, so we chose go-karting. My mum comes as well and the whole family goes, and it's a good way to keep us together.
Speaking of families sticking together, racing this weekend is Bathurst winner Jason Bargwanna and his youngest son Ben.
Look, it's a great sport, it really is, because it brings the kids together with the adults. It's something you've all got to do together. You travel together, you go away together. Relatively inexpensive in terms of motorsport, and I think it's great for the kids to get that sort of young age of driving experience, and when they hit the road, they're a step ahead of most of other people.
What's the best advice that Dad gives you?
Don't know.
He hasn't given you any good tips yet?
Don't think so.
What's always the last thing he says to you before you go out and race?
Stay on the track.
If you're looking to get involved, you need to join the Australian Karting Association. Here's newly appointed CEO Kelvin O'Reilly.
But we've got to look at creating a base that gives grassroots karting a real future, expand that, and the pathways through to the more elite levels more closely identified so that we can grow it as it needs to be grown into the top echelons of the sport.
For more info about how you can get involved, go to the AKA website.
He's one of the most experienced administrators in the sport, Kelvin O'Reilly, and he'll help guide karting into a bright new future. We're getting set for highlights of the TaG heavy class here at Todd Road. Paul Pittam going from the front row in this one. Michael Suller alongside Rick Pringle from the second row of the grid. A big class. This is just great karting, isn't it, Matt Payne? Fantastic, close and hard competition.
Massive fields that we've had at every single round. It's been such exciting racing, and you've seen experienced guys like Paul Pittam against youngsters like Mick Salla, just 16 years of age, up against guys also like Jason Heinrich, who's raced at the highest levels right throughout the world. And it's been a strong addition, thanks to Dunlop Kart Sport, to having the TaG Heavy and TaG Light classes aboard this year's CIK Stars of Karting Championship.
Well, Paul Pittam in this race made a very good start and just started to edge away from Michael Suller, who was running second. He's in the number 8 kart with the blue and white number board on the front. Pittam out in front. He's raced at a national level in circuit racing, came back to karting in the 99. Well-known number, and his start was very, very good.
Yeah, Borden, a South Australian manufactured Amiga kart, in fact, is Paul Pittam. Made in Adelaide is the Amiga kart by the Pearce family, and he's been a stalwart for that chassis throughout the years, has Paul. and again doing a great job. Michael Sala in second spot, one of the most versatile karters in Australia. Just 16 years of age, won 2 Speedway National Championships a little bit earlier on this year, won his first Australian title in Clubman Heavy not all that long ago, and he's really taken the fight up to a number of guys that are far more experienced than him right throughout season 2013.
In the early laps of this one, it was pretty frenetic stuff in the midfield. As Matt said, a big grid, all trying to find their own place on the racetrack, but Pidham escaped out in front in the early stages and built a pretty handy little margin. And would stay that way as the race evolved. As we jump forward to lap 18, it turned from a little margin to a very big one.
Yeah, Pidham first, Daylight second by the looks of things there. It just continues to pull away. It is Paul Pidham. And fantastic to see someone like Paul, who, as you've referenced before, went away and did some circuit racing and came back to karting. And that's what we see in karting. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that ability to get back on the wagon, as it were, and go back to racing these and be successful at it. So Salah still sitting in third place. There were some good movers a little bit further down the field as well. Michael Griffiths running 5th, Aaron Hindle in 6th, and Dale Corbett in 7th ahead of Lee Cocker as well. So some great names up and down this TaG field. The TaG Heavy's a big part of these Stars of Karting race meetings.
Of course, all sorts of different engine combinations available to go out there in this field, prioritised by weight. So depending on what engine you run, depends on the minimum weight that you run. Typically you'll see the X30 engine and the Rotax engine, all 125cc and water-cooled motors that they're utilising. TaG, of course, refers to touch and go. So basically you press a button and away you go. All using a Dunlop tyre, who have been the major supporter of the TaG races at the Castrol Edge Stars of Karting throughout season 2013.
Well, the Amiga Racing Team kart number 99 was in crushing form in this one. And after breaking away early in this race, he saw off his nearest rivals, and the margin at the line, more than 5 seconds at the end of this one for Paul Pidham. And already halfway through the lap, just giving the thumbs up to some people watching on the side of the road. It was a crushing performance, a complete win. But some of these other drivers in the bottom half of the top 3 or 4 doing a nice job as well.
Yeah, exactly. Mick Sala to defeat Jason Heinrich, his fellow New South Welshman. A big result as Pidham gets the back out onto the front straightaway and takes the race victory. A great job there for the South Aussie. Leans over and gives the NASA panel a little bit of a tap as the checkered flag comes out for Sala. Coming across the line in second, Heinrich across the line in third, followed by James Reed and Michael Griffiths rounding out your top 5.
Aaron Hindle was next ahead of Dale Corbett, Lee Cocker in the 8th, Tesserero in 9th, and Mark Gillespie completed the top 10. But it was a 5.7 second victory to Paul Pidham. He disappeared up the road.
Now we switch to the action in TaG Light, and of course on the front row there you've got number 4 Aaron Borg. He'll start alongside your pole sitter Jack Richardson. Then it's Michael Carlos and Dean Foster, with Andy Simpson rounding out your top 5.
Aaron Borg, a guy that's done a lot in karting. He's been dominant in this class for a couple of seasons and in others as well. A well-known name in the karting circle, so one to watch from the front row in this race. Richardson would put him under pressure as the field came down to the start, but the number 4 from the outside would sweep across the front and look down into turn 1. It was a good fight though. Richardson just got past, and in the early laps it was competitive stuff, good hard side-by-side racing.
Just absolutely frantic stuff out there among this lot. This TaG Light category has just been awesome since the very beginning of the season. Adam Mercer, who won the first event at the Ipswich Kartway, he's buried deep in the field just trying to make his way forward. We've got karts all over the racetrack further back in the pack, and it's all happening out there. Borg, of course, racing one of the new to Australia ART GP chassis, very well known in other forms of motorsport.
The TaG form of karting, Matt, is a real great entry point for drivers coming into go-karting, isn't it? And I guess that explains the big fields that we've seen here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you get some really good guys involved in the field here. These are some of the best guys in Australia across any form of karting, let alone just this particular category. And I guess it gives you the opportunity, as we go 4 wide, to get in there, race some hard and strong competition without the cost and without the stress of that Stars Stars of Karting level. It's an introduction to that level and gives you, if you are aspiring to racing Stars of Karting, the chance to learn the tracks and learn how the timetable and everything else works.
Love just a casual 4 wide there in the middle of the field. It's pretty competitive stuff, isn't it? So Borg made his margin grow in the early laps. State champion, plate on the front of his car, moving away the number 4 and built a handy lead by the time this race got to lap 3.
Yeah, definitely, and right behind him, the battle for the minors has been on all throughout the weekend with the likes of Richardson, Carlos, and of course Dean Foster. Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go for a quick break and we'll be back with Stars of Karting TV very soon.
We're back at Todd Road, the CIK Stars of Karting, thanks to Castrol Edge, and we're taking a look back at the TaG Light class, Matt Payne. Some fantastic racing through this. By the closing stages, Aaron Borg had established a pretty comfortable lead out in front. Jack Richardson, though, still applying the pressure in second. Michael Carlos in third, but this was a great fight, and this evolved over the course of the race.
Yeah, the battle for the podium was by no means over. Aaron Borg really shot to the front in this final throughout much of the heat racing. It was between these 3 or 4 guys who were absolutely going at it, swapping paint as you like, and but Borg has really stepped on the gas in that Hurst Racing Engines supported ART GP chassis. This will be 2 on the trot for Borg in this category. 1, of course, at round number 4 at Eastern Creek on the debut of the chassis in Australia. So he's very happy with the new chassis he's got underneath him.
Yeah, and the ART chassis is making a big impact in Australian karting, brought into the country by Devarshan Padiachi, champion karter, now running in Porsche Carrera Cup as well. Gets very hands-on, goes and tests the kart, so I'm sure it's a bit of fun as well. It's not all hard work, but working very hard to make sure the ART brand, which is synonymous with European open wheel racing in GP2 and Formula 3000 back in the day, as well as F3, is well established here in Australia. And this would turn out to be a nice victory, but that battle for the minors would go right down to the very end.
Yeah, they couldn't have found a better development driver in Aaron Borg. Very professional, very strong on the PR front. Great little networker is Aaron Borg. Down the back straightaway he goes. Look at this battle for third. That can go any single way possible. There's about 4 or 5 of them in there. It's going to go right to the line.
Aaron Borg, though, wouldn't have any such worries, and as he came out of the penultimate corner and into that very quick last turn here at Todd Road, he'd go to the line, put his hand in the air and take a very, very nice victory indeed. Richardson was second. He held out Carlos at the end. Dean Foster fourth, and Kramer holding out into the top 5. Baker, Mercer, Wilson, Simpson and Matthew Smith rounded out the top 10 in the TaG Light final.
Every year, a group of young drivers attend a training camp at the AIS. It's organised by the Australian Motorsport Foundation, and this year, 3 Stars of Karting young guns went along to be put through their paces.
I went to Canberra in the Australian Institute of Sport. I went there for a week, so yeah, with no parents.
Basically, we were at their facility for a week, stayed in their accommodation, used all their equipment and those sort of things, and it was a really good opportunity for me to learn a lot about what it's like to be an athlete.
Not just on how to be an athlete, but technical side as well, how to read data, and then we did a lot of training. We did a lot of hard training. Like by the end of the week, I was feeling pretty sore.
Goals of the session, as we said from the start, is strength, endurance, right?
We did a lot of running, cardio,
bench press,
weightlifting,
leg press,
participated in a beep test,
and some plank holds.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
It was very physically testing, but we learnt a lot about everything, a lot about the mental side of things, how your brain works and how it functions and all sorts of things, nutrition and how you're meant to eat while racing and all those sort of things.
In the kart, you've got to have a lot of upper body strength, and that's what we were doing.
I know this thing right here, it can be pretty tiring if you're going all day at it.
They've given me programs, fitness programs and those sort of things, so it's very good, but I'm a little bit slow starting due to schoolwork, but now I've got that out of the way, I'm keen to get started.
You know, it really just makes you appreciate how hard the guys at the top of motorsport have to work to be there. It's really tough, and I've got a lot of work ahead of me if I hope to get there one day.
Well, Matt Payne, fitness is just a critical part of motorsport, right from karting all the way throughout to the very, very top level, and even after that as well, when you retire, as we move to TaG, the final race on the program here at the Castrol Edge, Stars of Karting at Todd Road.
2 races within one. Andrew Dang to start off the pole. You've got the TaG Light and TaG Heavy restricted category out on the track all together. And of course, this is a way to get involved in this TaG style of racing.
Massive grid as they roll to the start. I was taking notes during that fitness story, you'll be pleased to know.
Oh, excellent.
By the way.
Whoa! It's all happened down at turn number 1 here.
There was carnage at the first corner, so plenty of drama. The number 12 kart caught in, and the 32s, 2x2, light and heavy involved in this, remember, locked in together.
So it's all happening out there very early in this one. One of the 32s involved in that action, Paul Marushak. And of course the pole sitter Andrew Dang, one guy who I've been keeping an eye on. He started out at position number 4, was a driver of kart number 6, and he's on screen now, Jet Speed. What a name that is, Jet Speed.
Well, that has to be the best name in motorsport anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
If it wasn't before, it is now. We've called it. Speed was working his way through the field, and meanwhile there was just an amazing field. So that's what happens when you combine those two classes as well. Big grid and lots of different types of drivers and karts involved in this one.
Yeah, and this is very much an entry level at seniors for drivers that want to get involved in karting. So they don't necessarily have to be the professional level drivers as we've seen in the TaG Light and TaG Heavy categories. They have a restrictor on, so that reduces the power ever so slightly. But up front, Nathan Grover's doing a great job to lead the way. Scotty McGuinness is right in there. So too the 79 machine of Chad Horsley, he's involved.
Yeah, Montgomery too, as well as Sortino in the 48, head of Stuart Reid, and Jet Speed in the number 2. We like that name. But this fighting just continued the whole way. But Grover, wasn't he good in the early stages of this race? Got a very handy margin up his sleeve.
Yeah, he did, and great looking kart there, the number 40, as he works his way forward.
So the race continued to evolve, and there was plenty going on. Chad Horsley in the 79 was holding off a great freight train of karts, and further back in the field, Marushak in the 91 was leading the way in the restricted heavy class.
Chad Horsley's got a couple lined up behind him here. His father Mark, one of our very dedicated officials that travels to the CIK Stars of Karting events each year.
And big tip of the hat, Matty, as well, to all of the volunteer officials that help make these races go on. The last lap, speaking of going on, there was a bit of it in the closing stages of this one. Some positions changing right to the very end. But meanwhile, out in front, the 46, Nathan Grover, had quite the comfortable lead over Scott McGuinness and Mick Montgomery running in 3rd place.
Yeah, doing a great job was Nathan Grover. He established the advantage early and just kept on building it and just opened up quite a gap. Got his way through the lap traffic, which made life interesting going through for the podium positions. But what a fantastic piece of entertainment the restricted category has been as part of the Stars of Karting presented by Castrol Edge, and that's a big, big win there for Nathan Grover.
The best name in motorsports, Jet Speed, came across the line in 6th place in the number 2 kart, and in the heavy class, Michael Marushik got through in 9th place.
Great entertainment it has been once again, the TaG restricted categories as part of the Castrol Edge CIK Stars of Karting this year. Grover gets the win from McGuinness, then it's Montgomery, Sortino, Reid and Speed, Chad Horsley and Trent Hill rounds out your top 8.
Fantastic racing all season long, hasn't it? What a great season it's been, and this final round at Todd Road has been great.
Just been absolutely epic through every single category, all the championships going right down to the wire.
On behalf of Matt Payne, Chad Nailon and our entire hard-working team, I'm Richard Crowe. Thanks for watching. It's been great fun bringing it to you, and we hope to see you in 2014 when the Stars of Karting, thanks to Castrol Edge, return to your racetracks. Thanks again from our entire team. We'll see you next year.